Hey guys, it's Jacob from Living Healthy Every Day. Let's get started. We're going to talk about cannabidiol, endocannabinoids, and THC. Something that's been kind of on the gray area of things that's hasn't been legal, so to say, but is kind of legal now. So let's get started. What is the endocannabinoid system? Well, it's something that was just discovered in the past couple years about how we have receptors of CB1 and CB2 all over our body, and they can control so many things from pain and inflammation and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to go through the CBD endocannabinoid system with you. So let's get started. Some of the basics of it. So cannabidiol, which is one of the 113 active cannabinoids in cannabis, and let's talk about THC, which is another one, the one that's very psychoactive, that makes you high, per se, if you want to say, which is what people go for. It's the major phytocannabinoid in cannabis, and it's got a whole scope of applications we're going to go through with antidepressant effects and neuroprotective effects and all sorts of awesome things. So you got CB1 receptors, you got CB2 receptors. Some of them have good things to them, some of them have bad things to them. Some of the goods, like you can suppress your mast cell from activating if you've got histamine intolerance or autism and things like that. It can inhibit glutamate and GABA, so that can be good. Decreasing prolactin, essentially raising your dopamine, that can be good. But I mean, so there's some bad things like decreasing bone density. We don't want that. We don't want to inhibit cyclic AMP, raise cortisol. It's not. Some of those things aren't good. But let's get into the benefits. So promoting neurogenesis. So they've showed in studies that it's able to promote hippocampal neurogenesis by taking cannabidiol, which is pretty awesome, and THC exposure also increases BDNF, which is another awesome thing. And with Alzheimer's disease, it can help with Alzheimer's disease, stopping the buildup of beta amyloid plaques, which is pretty cool. So it's something to look into if you got cognitive impairment, and it can protect the brain. So they've done rat studies where their cannabidiol was actually enhance the mitochondrial complex of the rat brain, and it increased vascular flow without changing the blood pressure in the body, which is pretty awesome. It can help with anxiety. Some people who have problems with anxiety, cannabidiol can really help that. THC I would stay away from because that can induce schizophrenia-like symptoms in people. Now, pot is pretty cool. It can help with stress. If it's not raising your cortisol, it can help with stress because it can modulate the HPA axis. And when your stress is down-regulated, it's essentially when your endocannabinoid system is turned on. So it can help people with depression. Inflammatory properties. Is actually a potent anti-inflammatory. It's with acting on mast cells. It stops cytokines, certain cytokines from pro-inflammatory cytokines from going into the body and causing inflammation. It's been shown to help the liver, which is pretty neat. And the only problem about cannabinoids is it's been shown to be immunosuppressive. So if you've got any kind of immune condition, that could be bad. But if you've also got autoimmunity conditions, they could be good because you want to tone that down when it's been too high up. It's been shown to help with glaucoma, promote a healthy skeletal system. It can help with some sleep problems like insomnia, especially with REM sleep and stage 4 sleep. It's been pretty good. And yeah, we talked about mast cells. It's technically a antihistamine. It can help with chronic pain. It can help with dyskinesia, neuropathy. People with multiple sclerosis can help with their neuropathy. It can reduce acne in some patients. It's quite good with withdrawal. Withdrawal from THC, withdrawal from alcohol, opioids. In rat studies, they had rats with heroin, and they self-administered less heroin when they had cannabidiol. It can help with prion accumulation in mad cow disease in humans. So if you're eating a lot of meat and you're susceptible to eating some, I don't think there's mad cow now, but it can help with mad cow. It can help with anorexia, ALS. Essentially, with anorexia, it helps. THC can help you eat more. Has some antibacterial properties with MRSA, streptococci. Can help with atherosclerosis, arthritis. Now something interesting I found about cannabidiol is that it can help with asthma, which you think smoking would make your asthma worse. Well, I guess if you take if you take cannabidiol, it can help better open up your lungs. It can help with activating CB1 and CB2 receptors protected the lungs. So that's pretty awesome. By decreasing certain serum cytokines and interleukin levels. With the mast cells, it can help with autism, which is pretty awesome, and their social behavior. Has anti-nausea effects along with increasing appetite. Can help with bipolar disorder in some people, but THC I wouldn't quite recommend with that because it can induce like schizophrenic like symptoms, and it's a little more stimulatory, where cannabidiol is a little less. It can help people with IBS by decreasing gut motility, especially cannabidiol. Crohn's and colitis has been shown to help some patients with inflammatory conditions with that. It can help with migraines, diabetes by increasing insulin sensitivity and lowering insulin resistance. Essentially, fasting insulin was lowered too, which is pretty awesome. It can help the heart in some ways, benefiting the cardiovascular system. During chemo, it can protect the kidneys. It can also be anti-epileptic and help people with seizures. So they've been giving it to children with seizures with positive results by lowering glutamate, essentially. It can help with motion sickness. Motion sickness, a lot of people get motion sickness, and by activating the endocannabinoid system, it's shown to help rats essentially overcome motion sickness. It can CBD, cannabidiol, not THC, can help with OCD-like symptoms. And it's kind of interesting that it can also prevent obesity. So if you're not taking THC, which is the one that makes you hungry, cannabidiol can actually decrease ghrelin and leptin levels, essentially making you more hungry. And preventing obesity, essentially, along with the metabolic factors of insulin and fasting insulin. Yeah, can help people with Parkinson's disease, PTSD, along the same lines of allowing them to calm down and adapt to stress. Now, cannabidiol, as opposed to THC, has some antipsychotic effects. So I wouldn't go for THC if you've got a kind of psychotic symptoms. MS, we talked about MS and the neuropathy. Can help with sickle cell anemia. Certain skin conditions like psoriasis, because of its anti-inflammatory properties. They showed with rats that had spinal cord lesions, cannabidiol, when they administered that, it helped them improve their functionality, which is pretty awesome. It can help with fibro, so if you got fibromyalgia, it can help with the pain there. It can protect the brain during Huntington's, which is pretty awesome, and help with stroke and traumatic brain injury right after that. It can protect the neurons from actually being hurt after stroke. And it's got many effects in cancer, to a lot of different types of cancer: bladder cancer, brain cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, endocrine system cancers, leukemia, lung cancer, melanoma, prostate cancers, all shown positive effects, and it's something we should definitely do more research in. And that's just cannabidiol itself. THC also has its own myriad of effects too. So you've got the whole cannabinoid system with CB1 and CB2 receptors and certain genes. And in my personal experience, I use a vaporizer pen. Actually, I don't have it here. It's in the other room. Which I use for its antihistamine properties and its non-psychoactive properties of stress management, which is pretty awesome. And if I use the cream, it helps with some pain after working out, and I like that. I think it's a great anti-inflammatory. And if I have insomnia, I can use the oil or just smoke the vaporizer, which is pretty awesome. And there's some ways you can activate the endocannabinoid system or increase cannabinoids in your body. I'll just go through that quickly with you. I've got a list here that we'll go through. Stress reduction, exercise, a high-fat diet, tea, CBD oil, essentially. You can, or marijuana would work too. Omega-6s, echinacea, nicotine, glutamine, which kind of works the same way on nicotine receptors in the brain. Fish oil, so DHA essentially. Kava, caffeine, PEA, just to name a few, EGCG. You got some hormones that will act on the endocannabinoid system, like testosterone, estradiol, endorphins, DHT. And there's also some drugs, the synthetic drugs that they use in the studies. I don't think you can get without prescription. And of course, yeah, marijuana, THC. That's too. If you can go to a dispensary, if it's legal in your area. So there are some side effects, but I mean, marijuana. I don't think there have been proven any deaths from taking too much marijuana, even when you're eating it or injecting it. I think the half-life is pretty far up there for if it's injected. So it's been tolerated at doses of 1.5 grams per day orally, or 30 milligrams intravenously. And if you think of it intravenously, that's a hell of a lot. And there haven't been too many downsides, except for the evidence that about the schizophrenic kind of symptoms that you can get from THC. And if we look at THC in combination with CBD, CBD enhances THC in the body. And actually, something I was just listening to before, how alcohol and THC in the body work. So THC actually enhances alcohol in the body. I was watching a ASAP Science episode talking about alcohol. I'll post that in the link below, in the description below, and you can watch that. And if you want to learn more about the places where to get cannabidiol legally, if it's legal in your state, and all the other benefits that we didn't cover, because I've got 49 plus benefits of the endocannabinoid system. You're welcome to read that and some of the history and look at some of the awesome pictures there too, and see more of my experience. So thanks guys for watching this. I hope you learned some stuff about this whole system we have in our body that no one ever really talks about in a scientific manner. So that's the endocannabinoid system. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, give it a subscribe to the channel, and be ready for more videos like this, and stay beautiful.